Domo Analyzer. Domo's best feature for BI Analyst is its data visualization aspect, which is fast, easy to understand, and straightforward. You can turn complex sets of data into meaningful visualizations with just a few clicks in Analyzer, regardless of the depth of your technical skill set. Domo Analyzer lets you customize the appearance of your charts, graphs, and objects. You can also apply and edit filters, chart properties, sorts, add a chart name and description, and view and manipulate the data table for the chart. Note that Analyzer is only accessible by users with admin, privileged, or editor system roles, or a custom role with the edit cards grant enabled, so we recommend checking with your Domo admin or IT personnel if you can't access this feature. First, how do we access the Analyzer? There are several ways to open it. 1. If you are in a dashboard or card that you have access to edit, hover over the card, click the three-dot icon, and select Edit in Analyzer. 2. If you want to access it from any point inside Domo, find the More tab in the navigation menu and select Analyzer. In this method, you are prompted to select a dataset first before heading to the Analyzer page. Let's select the Maharashtra dataflow output we created from the last lesson. After selecting the input, we are now presented with the Analyzer view with a stacked bar chart created by default. Let's look at how the Analyzer page is set up. The top two tabs are Data and Visualize. Data shows the dataset view, which lets you create a view, union, join, or open the SQL editor to edit your dataset. On the other hand, Visualize tab lets you focus on creating charts, graphs, and will be our main focus for this lesson. The next buttons on the toolbar are for hiding and showing the different panes and windows. From the left to right, we have Dataset, Lineage, Data Table, Filter and Sort, Properties, Control, Color Rules, Auto Preview, Tooltips, Chart Types, Annotation, Beast Mode, Segments, and YOY, year over year. The upper right button above the toolbar is the Show Toolbar button, Undo and Redo, Invite to share your card, and Save button. The leftmost pane is the Data pane. From this pane, you can configure everything about the data source. From the top to bottom, the first one is the Dataset Picker, which lets you change the dataset or the source and view details regarding this dataset. Next, we have three tabs: Columns, Variables, and Segments. Columns have the list of all columns or fields, including calculated fields, saved in the dataset. Columns are grouped into measures, dimensions, and calculated fields. Measures are columns that have numeric values like integer, float, and decimal data types. Dimensions are columns that contain either string, date and time, and Boolean data type. Finally, calculated fields are user-created values based on a certain formula or a static assigned value which is created using Beast Mode, found by clicking the Create Calculated Field button on the bottom. To easily search for a column or calculated field, use the search bar or the filter on the top part after the tabs. So for this data set in our demo, we have 6 dimensions, 1 measure, and 0 calculated fields. The rightmost pane is called the Chart Picker. It lets you set the visualization type, which is grouped into different categories. The type of your chart you select should depend on the specific information you want to convey to your audience. Do you want to show trends, compare the order of data based on a value, point a specific place or region? It is always good to start with the business question before deciding the type of chart you want to show. Domo has created a nifty diagram to help you in chart type decision making. This diagram is also available on your Domo support website. In this instance, we wanted to show which customers to prioritize during the sales and marketing campaign for the Poon pop-up store, since there has been a decline in customer retention and total orders in that area this year. To easily show the order of a dimension based on a numeric value, we can use a simple bar chart. Under the Popular Charts category, select the horizontal bar. This type of chart is good for dimensions with more than 6 values in it, as the user can just scroll downwards if the list gets longer. This changes the chart type shown in the chart preview, which is the central part of the Domo Analyzer that shows the current state of your chart. If you're going to make several changes on the chart and do not want to load every single change every time, you may turn off the preview by deselecting the Auto Preview button on the toolbar. After the data pane is the Filter and Sort pane. To create a filter that limits your rows of data, simply drag a column or calculated field from the data pane to the Filters section, which is appropriately labeled with the drag columns here. We want to filter using the dimension city and limit it to the records with string value of Poon, so we need to drag the city and place it as filter and configure it by clicking the city pill to show the filter window. In the filter window, we have 3 available filter types to choose from: selection to choose specific values from the list, match values to filter by keywords, or aggregation to filter using a numeric value or a range of values. Let's use selection and tick the checkbox for Poon and hit apply to apply the changes to the chart. Notice how values and range change when applying filters. Filter removes specific records, so always make sure to observe how it affects your visualization and decide if a filter is necessary for your chart. Next in this pane is the sorting section. This reorders the data that's shown in your chart either in an A to Z, Z to A, ascending/descending order, or just use the default sort in your data set. For example, we wanted to sort the bars based on the amount of sales from highest to lowest in order to learn the ranking or order of customers based on their sales value. Simply drag amount and place it under sorting. On the sorting window, select descending and select the aggregation value sum. Finally, the limit section lets you set a limit to the records processed by the analyzer. By default, Domo's chart engine limits the number of rows it downloads to the browser to help with the responsiveness of your dashboards, which is especially tricky for large and complicated dataset. Now you can override these limits by explicitly setting these values. Since this is a simple chart and only has a few data, let's just keep it as all rows. Above the chart preview is the chart columns field pane. This is where you drag and drop columns or calculated fields from the data pane to build a chart. If none of the required fields are allocated with columns, the chart preview will be blank. The current state of our chart is set to a horizontal bar, where the customer name is set as the y-axis and the sum of the amount is set as the x-axis. Optionally, you can add a dimension field to the series if you want a subgroup in your chart. The set of fields required will be dependent on the type of chart you choose. Some may require less, others can require up to 7 or more. For datasets and charts requiring date and time sensitive data, there is a date filter menu, which lets you choose a date range and grain for the data in the chart. Our dataset contains data from 2018 to 2019, and we wanted to show all of the available dates, so we've set the date range to all time. You also have the option to select last, to filter by the last number of date metric, current for range of dates in present year or time, previous for the previous range of dates, next for future range of dates, and between for a specific date range. The compare dropdown is for period over period charts, which uses a date and time period on one of its axes or fields. Date range field sets the main date that is shown for the chart. Domo selects 1 by default, so make sure to select the correct date or time field if you have several in your data set. Finally, you have the Date Filter dropdown. If you want to filter using a specific date range, use one of the conditions in this dropdown and type your date or time value in the text box. Below all the panes is the data table. Click its icon in the toolbar to show its pane. The data table shows you the preview of the data backend, including the unutilized columns. Any changes you apply to the data table will be reflected in the chart preview. At the same time, if you make any changes in the chart, such as adding filters or sorts, the records shown in the data table are affected as well. Let's expand this plane first by clicking the Enter Full Screen button. You can use the gear icon to hide or show totals and show chart data to aggregate it based on how it's done in the chart. By clicking the Show Columns, you can hide or show the columns that are used, color-coded based on field color. You can also apply filter and aggregations from here using the three-dot icon of each column. Next, we have the Chart Properties pane located below the Filters and Sort pane. This is where you configure the chart settings such as number and date formatting, labels, and so on. Different chart types will display different chart properties. For this demo, we wanted to apply a gradient color to the chart with the starting color in dark blue, ending in light blue to show the customer's bar in darker colors if they have large orders. Navigate to the gradient colors properties, check the Use Gradient Colors, then set the starting and ending color. Then we have the Quick Filter or Controls panel. Quick filters are predefined filters you can use to create a self-guided experience for others to explore data on a card and answer questions for themselves. These are filters intended not for the chart creator, but for the end user. In this case, we want users to be able to set a numeric range for amount, drag amount to the filter pane, set the filter to range with condition greater than or equal to, but not setting any static values so users can see the min and max value in the dataset, then turn on the display as quick filter slider and hit apply. By doing so, there will be a new box for amount, which you can relabel to make it more understandable. For other data types, it will also have the option to change the type of control to match values, use multi-select or single select. Above the chart preview is the title and description. You can add dynamic values here, also known as smart text, based on the date range, filters, segments, or dataset info. Let's set this to Maharashtra top, customers since, then add a smart text of date last updated, hit save to apply the changes. Below the title and description is the summary number. The summary number for a chart is a single value that represents the data in that chart. Let's set this to use all values, column equals customer name, aggregation, to count, and set the label as count of customers. Hit save and comment. Type in a description, Maharashtra, top customers, V1, then save and close. You can now add this card to a dashboard, share it to other Domo users, or request certification for other users to verify this chart for approval.